You must construct additional pylons.
Welcome everybody to Stonehearth Alpha 21 review here on Additional Pylons Games. So let's go ahead and get into it. The format, for those of you who are new to these, basically I'm going to go through the new features, preview them a little bit within the game so that you can get a little bit better context of them. So going to do basically a summary of the changes, and then at the end do sort of what I see as the impact on the game at this time. Keep in mind that this is in the alpha version. This is the pre-release basically on Steam. So if we run into some bugs, that's why. So here we are. We're on the opening screen basically to start a new game, and you can see, first of all, maybe it's just me, but I think that there are some new things here, like quit to main menu button, the ability to change these different items. Maybe I'm just out of touch. Maybe I didn't notice them in the last update. But anyways, one of the first things that you'll see here is the updated roster screen. So with the roster screen, now instead of re-rolling all citizens, which is still an option, you can actually randomize each individual person on your team. So we can see here, we've got Chopper Rail. He's pessimistic, which these are the traits. This is another thing we'll get into. And he's excitable. So they get happy or sad much faster, and he's pessimistic. So that means that he's basically going to get sad really quickly. I don't like that, so I'm going to go ahead and randomize and redo them. So instead we get Pony Open, and Pony has Featherweight. Likes to walk a bit faster than others, though they tend to carry less as a result. So she's faster, but she doesn't carry as much. I can live with that. So anyways, there we are. You have the ability to customize your characters. Not only that, you can customize their hair color, going through all the different hair colors, going through the different hairstyles, and skin color as well. So you've got a lot more options. You can also change between male and female. There you go. Funnily enough, they keep the same name, even if you change from male to female. So I guess maybe in the world of Stonehearth, in the world of Stonehearth, apparently every name is a gender neutral name. Anyways, so there you go. You've got the ability. You can also reroll all citizens, as you see there, and you've got the ability to kind of update their traits. With that, the next thing is the trait system. Like I said earlier, this I think is a really big change actually to the game. This is a very it seems from the outside it seems very small. It just seems like this little update that they gave, but I think that this really changes the game. I think it gives it a lot of life, a lot of personality. It makes you much more. It makes these characters, these Hearthlings, much more connectable. I don't know, much more relatable. So you can see here we've got Lily Barrel. She's got Callous, so she keeps everyone at arm's length. It makes it hard for her to. So this is one of the traits. It makes it hard for her to gain friends. Vice versa, she's got Heart of a Crafter. So Callous means that it's hard for her to make friends. Where Heart of a Crafter, she wants to be a craftsperson. Well, the thing is that we can see that she's got a 5 mind, so she's actually going to be a pretty decent crafter. She'll be able to learn things pretty quickly. So that's a good combination. Let's see if we can find a bad combination here. So Passionate Footman. We've got a 2-body, 3-spirit Greyla Umbro who wants to be a footman. That's not the best combination. So we'll probably randomize her. See, we've got Caleb Pounder, Passionate Cleric, and Courageous. Okay, that might work. Jess Freywind. So Courageous, but pessimistic. So that's a problem. Passionate Farmer and Heart of a Crafter. Okay, we can go with that. Passionate Shepherd. So we got someone here who wants to be a shepherd. She'd actually better be as a warrior, but we'll go with it. So you can see other traits here. Green Thumb. So if they have interaction with plants, they enjoy that. Here's another one. Carnivore. They love animals. They love eating them, that sort of thing. So there are good and bad to all these. So if you give a person with Green Thumb a job that interacts with plants, they're going to be much happier. They're going to get much more of a positive attitude, which has other benefits along with it. They work faster, they carry more, that sort of thing. But vice versa, we look at Carnivore here, Elena Carvad. If you give Elena a meal and there's only vegetables in it, she's actually going to become sadder. She's going to be more sad, I guess. So that's just something to keep in mind with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept this roster. Looks pretty decent to me. What is the Passionate Worker? Okay, so they just want. So here we go. VO Quest just wants to be a worker. So that's interesting. Again, it gives a little more personality. Here's the next change. This is the loadout system. So instead of having items kind of like at a store that you can purchase at will, Instead, we've got a new loadout system. So we've got food for days. So this gives you a bunch of food to begin with. One farmer, farming hoe. You've got merchant caravan. So we get a trapper knife, a footman, herbalist staff, berries, and a little bit of gold, and then money. So basically, if you want to have money and just be able to purchase whatever you want, that's great. There are going to be some more loadouts coming in soon. I think that merchant caravan is the best one to start off with because trapper knife is going to take a while for you to get to. Herbalist staff may or may not take a while for you to get to, and you can craft a farmer's farmer's hoe pretty quickly. All these loadouts come with a carpenter's saw, so you can immediately begin with that. You don't have to worry about getting a carpenter's saw from the get-go. Vice versa for the Ascendants, or sorry, for Raya's children, you get, I believe you get the Potter's whatever it is, to begin with. So that's the new loadout system. I'm going to go ahead and get into game, and we'll check out some of the other new features that have been updated here in Alpha 21. All right, everybody. So here we are in game, and you can see we've got a little town going here. Just a just a little starter settlement that I just decided to just test things out on, have some fun with. So here we are, and first things, the next big thing that has been updated is the basically the space system. It's the system by which your Hearthlings feel better or worse if they're in a cramped area. So let's go ahead and just look at this little house that we've got here. So previously, the way that the space system worked is that your Hearthling would kind of say, if I had an open area here around me, then the Hearthling felt better about themselves. If there was anything interfering with that space, that basically their personal bubble in that area, they'd feel a little less happy about themselves. Windows would help, open rooms would help, being underground was bad, that sort of thing. Most of those are still true. The adjustment that has been made, though, and you can see in this tiny little house, is we've got one window, we've got a door out here this way, but previously that bubble was, it could not be moved, it could not be adjusted to the space that it was in. So putting a bed against a wall was bad because basically the Hearthling's little bubble on this side would get violated, if you will. And so now what has been adjusted is saying that it takes the room itself and it adjusts the Hearthling's personal space to that room. And if that room is small, if there are no windows, if it's underground, then bad things, they get a negative view, if you will. They get a little more pessimistic. But now it molds to the room so that you can still have an open room, you can still have a bed against a wall, and if it's an open room, if it's a big enough space, then your Hearthlings won't get sad because they realize I'm just on the bed near the wall. That doesn't mean that I've got no space around me whatsoever. So that's a very important adjustment. One of the other features that has been added, and we'll just go with this guy right here, is if you hit J, it actually zooms in on him, and it'll actually move around and walk with him. Yes, thank you for placing the flowers right there, sir. Much appreciated. Such hard work that you're doing. But you can see it follows him into the little house, and he's laying down for a nap. So we got a little bunk area here. So hitting J allows you to follow. Pressing any of the AWSD keys will basically break it. Hopefully in the future, they'll allow for you to rotate or something like that as you're following. As of right now, pressing any of the keys will break that follow command. But it's nice to see, okay, what paths are my Hearthlings taking to get to X place, which is actually the next thing, that one of the other things that they adjusted. So one of the ways that the developers have been basically updating it and reducing the CPU time, the CPU cost for each character, is to basically go through and change the way that characters try and reach certain objects. So as you can see, we've got this nice little island here that we're on, and the Hearthlings are unable to get to the mainland. Well, because of that, basically what happens now is there's an algorithm that will say, okay, if I tell my Hearthlings to go and harvest these trees, well, the little algorithm runs and says, okay, there is no possible path to get to this entire plane here. So this entire level right here. Because there's no possible path, if an order is put in on this terrain at a place that's unreachable, then they kind of ignore it. It basically, instead of the system going through and checking each and every possible route and finding out that there's no way for the Hearthling to get there, taking up a lot of time, basically it says, now, okay, if we have a command on this plane, we're unable to reach it until something changes in the topography in order to allow for the Hearthlings to get there. One of the other, pretty much the last change is key bindings. They're working on key bindings so that eventually you're going to be able to change what all the different tasks and items are assigned to on your keyboard. So you can just hit that keyboard shortcut and go ahead and do that. So we've completed the summary, the review of all the different changes. Now it's time for us to figure out, how does this affect gameplay? How does this affect how you're going to build your cities? How's it going to affect how you play the game of Stonehearth? So obviously the first thing, the big thing, is the loadout system. Changing the loadout system gives you some templates. It gives you basically a little bit more, of a track. So if I'm going to be more militaristic, I'm going to take this loadout. If I'm a little bit more merchant, if I want to make a merchant city or something like that, or if I want to make a farming community, something of that effect, then I'm able to take certain loadouts. So it's kind of like pre-planned loadouts rather than just freeform, which I can see positive benefits to. I can see negatives to it as well, just in that it's a little less flexibility, it's a little less choice, I guess. But I like the way that it's streamlined. I think that it's good. All these survivalists stopping by. Anyways, so I think that that's a good change. I think that's fun. Obviously, being able to re-roll individual characters and customize them a little bit is fantastic. That's a great way to personalize your starting expedition a little bit more, again, to your play style, however that goes. So I think that those are both very positive changes. Those are big changes. I found myself going through and re-rolling to get the perfect traits and the perfect match. So that's almost like a mini game in and of itself, is getting just the perfect starting group to go out on your expedition for Stonehearth. So I think that those are great changes. The other change, the trait system, I think is phenomenal. I said this earlier, but I think it's a great change. It gives your characters much more personality, allows you to connect with them. I just got a character here, and this game just kind of an automated thing where they came in and they have absolutely fantastic traits, and then they have fantastic stats, and then they have terrible traits. So we've got a glutton who's callous and all these other things, and it's just like you have it gives a little more personality because you connect with these different characters because they have things that they like, things that they don't like. It also means that when you're planning out your first expedition and when you get new characters, you want to try and match them up with things that they like. So if you have someone who likes plant interactions, you want to make them a farmer. If you have someone who wants to be a warrior or a crafter or something like that, you have to try and find a place for them in your community to do that in order to keep them happy. Keep them happy means that they're more productive, and if they're more productive, then that means that they're better contributing to your little Stonehearth society. So overall, I think that those are big changes to the way that the game works. They're not flashy, they're not new building templates, they're not new quests, they're not new enemies or character models, but they really impact the way that you build your town and you plan things out. So I think that these are all very positive positive changes. The topology change, the change in the way that your Hearthlings look for items, the way that they try and accomplish tasks, I think that is very positive as well. Still remains to be seen how much of your CPU that it saves, but supposedly it saves a lot of strain on your computer, so that allows for more characters, more Hearthlings in your little town here in Stonehearth. So I think that overall this is a great patch. It's a great fix. Still, I've had some bugs here and there, but that's to be expected. It's the early version of it. So anyways, that is the review here for Stonehearth Alpha 21. Thanks for tuning in. And check out some of the other videos on the channel here on Additional Pylons Games. Thanks for watching Additional Pylons Games. Click one of the boxes to watch another video, and click the circle to subscribe and join the APG Zealots. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and share it with your friends. Comment below and I'll see you next time here
on Additional Pylons Games.